This is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook live show. We're a little bit early today, getting a head start on the Monday DraftKings main slate. 7 games on tap. A little bit earlier, Grande, means we may not get all of the injury news we generally have when we're live 5 to 6, but it's only a half an hour. We did just get a small update here. Wendell Carter Jr. now questionable for tonight's contest, so changing some things up potentially for the Orlando Magic. I caught your morning preview show mentioning Mo Wagner and his insane per minute production when he's on the floor. If Wendell Carter Jr. ends up not playing tonight, that could be a spot for him this evening against the Milwaukee Bucks here, man. Appreciate you doing the solo show. It was not a great night for us Patriots fans watching the Super Bowl last night, but I also heard you let everybody know that it wasn't all for naught over at Fantasy Spin.
Good night. You had a good night. You had a good bad night, John. You had a good bad night.
We took down the Fantasy Alarm Fantasy Spin football main event. That lineup we spun on the show. Grande.
You and Bender?
Me and Bender.
Oh,
On it on the show.
So Bender text you and be like, "I deserve half," or what?
No, because I was insistent on the kickers, and we had Jason Myers. Jason Myers locked in, and Barner was our last spin.
Oh, good one. Nice tutty. He had a tutty. First
So,
tutty, right?
Yeah, he had the touchdown. Yeah. Managed to take it down with Drake May as a quarterback, and what sealed it was the garbage time Ramondre Stevenson touchdown catch. Shoestring, barely off the ground, caught it, basically just rumbled in there. So we took that down. A little bankroll builder. We're full over at Fantasy Spin here tonight now, obviously, for tonight's NBA slate. And it should be an interesting one here from a DraftKings perspective as well. We do appreciate you guys who are tuning in with us early here today. Our guy IC3, always popping in. Brendan letting us know as well about the Wendell Carter Jr. downgrade. Grande, you did the playbook today, man. How are you feeling about things?
It's a good slate. I mean, we have a couple games up over 240 implied points. You love to see 7 games on the docket. 10 games total today. They cut off the late games. Vandal did as well. But overall, like, good slate. I think there's good value. There's good spend ups. There's a little blend of just about everything. And sorry to everyone who obviously can't tune in to the show today because we started a little earlier. It is my fault. My son has a basketball game. So I appreciate John accommodating to my schedule today. But yeah, good slate overall. Definitely enjoying it.
100%. Listen, it's, we have the show here. We're always in the Discord. The playbook's going to be updated. And, you can always watch this show on repeat if you're not here to catch, the beginning of it.
Right.
We'll have it. John
won 800 smackaroos, Trill. He won. True. He took down we were promoting that on the channel all week. Even when we were doing our NBA fantasy spin stuff, John had mentioned multiple times that there was the NFL fantasy spin contest. And at the end of each time, he was like, maybe I'm going to go get in that now. The
we threw 5 lineups in there. We spun 2 on the show. And one of the 2 were the ones that hit. We ended up cashing 2 of the 5 that I also put in there. So, we actually did a little bit more than the one, but first in the min cash is good enough. All right, let's get into today's slate. Again, if you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat. We'll throw them up on the screen. Is it Collins and the rest of the lineup for IC3? Is that what the question is there?
I think he meant to put Collier, but
probably. I mean, I watched the preview show because I wasn't on it, so I want to get the slate breakdown there. I also saw a lot of people very upset with what Utah did in that game against Orlando, resting basically all of their starters.
Dude, we are not going to see tanking like we're ever like this. This is going to be the worst year of tanking ever in the history of the NBA for sure.
Yeah.
The ethical tanks are happening everywhere, and starters are not playing in the fourth quarters. It's a nightmare.
Up 17, benching all of them. But Collier did play, you said.
Collier did. He played basically once again the whole game because that's what Isaiah Collier does. So when Keontae left, it was basically just Isaiah Collier. So he did actually get a rest in the second half, though. I will, they did give him a rest, which has not been the case for a little bit, but yeah, he did get a little bit of a break there.
That is a plus here. We'll get a lot of injury news for today as well. A lot of key names ruled out already for tonight's slate. We'll go over that as we go through the show here as well. But as you can see right there on the screen, I mean, Jalen Johnson today pops up on the injury report. Nikola Jokic up at the top there as well.
He's probable.
He's probable. Well, let's just do this real quick. Let's replace that little image here. Let's just do the new image. There we go. You tell me if this is right or wrong, but this is what we got. It's based off your playbook. I don't know the last time these things were updated, but probable Jokic, Bam, Duren, and Brown.
Look, I got the Wendell Carter right there, so you know how fast it's updated. Literally as we are talking on this show.
Yeah,
that's how updated it is.
I saw the typing. Wendell Carter downgraded. Dean Wade, Jalen Smith, Jalen Tyson, Dyson Daniels, Norman Powell, Jamal Murray, Jalen Johnson all questionable for tonight. Whole list of players out as well. A couple of doubtfuls here. Franz Wagner in, but expected to be on a minutes limit this evening.
Yeah, they came out and said it's like a strict minutes limit, whatever that means. So whatever they deem as his number, they will absolutely not surpass.
Sure, for sure. All righty, let's get into the good stuff here. Now that enough of you people are in the show. Point guard position, Cade Cunningham, $10,000. Murray, 91. James Harden, 9K, made his Cleveland debut the other day there. Talk to me about the top three guards.
I mean, they're all playable. I don't have a ton of, none of them are priorities for me, but you can obviously get to any of them. Cade, tough spot against Charlotte because Charlotte's been so good on both ends of the floor during this 9-game winning streak. But Cade can dominate against anybody. If you want to get to Cade, by all means. I probably of the three would gravitate to Murray if he plays. He has been amazing, even with Nikola Jokic. I mean, only had to play 31 minutes due to the injury, due to kind of how badly the game was out of hand. He would have probably finished around 35, 36 minutes if that game had been more competitive and he hadn't gotten hurt. But I think Murray looks great. 1.3 fantasy points per minute without Peyton Watson and Aaron Gordon this year. So definitely like Murray. I don't have a ton of Harden is fine. He's going to fit in really well with this team. Him and Jared Allen are going to be best friends forever. Another massive Jared Allen game the other day. And we've seen throughout the years, James Harden, hate him or love him, he is an excellent, pairing for big men in short roll, in pick and roll, in whatever action you want. So I think Harden is a nightly 2010 guy or a threat to be a 2010 guy. Of course, you could play him. I'm not personally getting there tonight, but you can obviously play him if you want.
Yeah, did absolutely nothing for their defense. Gave up 126 to the Kings. Almost lost that game for a period of time there.
Yeah.
Offensively, knocked down 5 threes. We had a good live betting day that day, just betting that game basically by itself. They just kept on scoring. Ryan Rollins, $8,600. Trey Murphy, $82,000. LaMelo, $8,000. The hardest time I've had today is figuring out if I know Charlotte's good. I know Detroit has been considered the better team all season long, but they're only giving Charlotte 2.5 points today. Which,
yeah, they won 9 in a row.
I know. So it's is Charlotte really this good that they deserve the 2.5, or is Detroit fully healthy going to easily cover 2.5 on Charlotte? That's the dilemma I've gone back and forth here today.
I mean, They're really good. They're 32-21 against the spread, Charlotte.
Yeah. Well, they were getting a lot of big points earlier on in the season. You and I kept being like, this offense is kind of legit when they're all healthy, you know?
Yeah, it's been the Musa, like since this Musa move and everyone stayed healthy, they've been really, really good. I mean, this iteration is obviously pretty legit. They just need to stay healthy. I don't know. It's interesting. I think like you brought up LaMelo, and obviously that's what sparked the Charlotte conversation. Like he is in play in tournaments. He's not a priority for me because Detroit's good defensively. I guarantee LaMelo's going to have, see Sar Thompson a bunch in this game. But he's always in play in tournaments if you get 30 minutes out of LaMelo. Trey Murphy is the priority for me of this tier of between like Rollins, LaMelo, and Murphy. It's just an elite spot.
Yeah.
This game in general amongst two of the worst teams in the NBA. The only difference between a lot of these bad teams and the Pelicans is that the Pelicans don't have a pick next year. So, like, they are just going to keep playing their guys to try to form whatever they need, right? Going into next year, like whatever type of chemistry and camaraderie they need, they basically have on their team because unless they trade somebody, they're not getting picks back. So we should continue to see in competitive games, Trey Murphy play literally as many minutes as he can handle. I mean, 37 minutes or more in 4 straight, and basically like every game since, December, he's played like high 30s in competitive games. The Kings are obviously horrible defensively. Murphy, it's an interesting note because Jordan Poole, it was interesting to see what would happen with the Pelicans rotation after they traded Alvarado. And it was still just DMP, Jordan Poole. And I have no reason to think that doesn't continue. So without Poole and Alvarado, 24.5% usage, 1.12 fantasy points per minute for Murphy. Should absolutely smash one of those ceiling type spots against the Kings, who are another team who benches their starters in the fourth, or most of their starters in the fourth, and are trying to keep the worst record.
Already without Levine tonight as well.
Like, and Sabonis.
Yeah. I wrote up the over 22.5 for Murphy tonight. The last time I did that, he scored 44. So,
that was the conversation we talked about where the double up, you should get
extra money. Yeah.
Extra money. Yeah.
All right. You do have Westbrook at $7,800, but as you said, I don't know how you're feeling about him in this specific spot against the Pelicans. He did knock down 5 threes against Cleveland. A rare good shooting night for him from 3. KPJ 77. Rollins was 86. We didn't really talk Rollins because I think the price point, especially when Kevin Porter Jr. is $7,700, just feels like the better play tonight. No.
Yeah, I have no interest in Rollins when I could just play the better version for
play the better player. Yeah, just play the better player.
I mean, it's like no offense to Ryan Rollins, he's gonna have big games without Giannis. Kevin Porter Jr. is just an insane fantasy player. Insane. I mean, there's just no reason that the price should be. It just needs to be a more drastic price increase from this slate to next because he's just too good on a per minute basis. I mean, it's every category too.
He could draw the Suggs defense.
Yeah, he should. He should.
Yeah, but that's fine. Then we had the Collier spot, $7,300. Again, if you think he's playing 40 minutes tonight, then you
over under 40.5, John.
So you brought up a great point on the preview show that they do actually have another guy that could be the point guard tonight in Vince Williams if they decided to just sit the starters again in the fourth quarter. But they also played the young guys through the fourth quarter in Bailey and Collier in that game.
Yes.
So I'm going to go over 40.5, but
is it okay? Over 47.5.
I feel like 40 over 47.5. He might play all 48. Honestly, I can't say no anymore. If they don't have a point guard, they can play Vince Williams. They probably should play him like 10 minutes in this game, but that's, that leaves you 40 minutes, I guess, 38 minutes. Good price for him. He's going to play. Good matchup against Miami, pace wise for them. So $7,300 is there. You have both Orlando guards. How much does Wagner impact one of them? I mean, who loses out here? Is it Black or is it Suggs?
Numbers wise, it's Black, but it's not like it's a significant drop off. Jalen Suggs has just been the better fantasy player. Anthony Black has consistently just played more because he's been healthier.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Suggs more consistently is the better fantasy player. I lean Jalen Suggs today. Anthony Black is also 25% less or 22% less owned than
Suggs gets
Jalen
ownership
Suggs.
like every slate, it seems like, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's a really good, like, you look at some of he's averaging 32 fantasy points per game. He's averaging 26 minutes per game this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he is like super crazy per minute guy, 1.22. Only people better on his team are Mo Wagner, who plays 13 minutes a game, and Paolo, and it's 0.01 worse. You know, like, one of those players, Paolo, and one of those players, Suggs, is priced in the 9K range, and one of them is in the 6K range. So, like, now that we're getting 30 plus minutes, and that's a thing that Jalen Suggs can do and, like, get through healthy, like, and come back the next day, then, yeah, he is just kind of the better per minute guy than basically anyone on this team.
I got over 4.5 rebounds on him. The recent rebounding chances for him are insane.
Yes.
I guess, like, if Wagner comes back, maybe I'm a little worried, but it's not like Franz is like a crazy rebounder, but he's basically averaging double-digit rebound chances over the last 10 games. So
yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt. I don't know how I feel about Wendell not being there, because we know Goga would probably be back in the rotation, and Goga's just always at the rim.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like you want Wendell to be in.
Yeah, probably true. Yeah, obviously you make these bets in the morning, and then all of a sudden, you know, things happen. But yeah, 4.5 rebounds for Suggs. I thought that was decent value given the recent run for him. So
he's just so active. He's just so active on the court, right? Like, he always is around the ball. So I like it. I do.
And Milwaukee takes a lot of outside shots, so there could just be some long rebounds for him to grab there. Daniels is true questionable, as you got there. So you have CJM at $6,100.
Yeah, and Jalen. I mean, CJM could benefit from both.
Yeah, and Jalen, right? Yeah, true. So 6,100. We've seen the games where it's just CJM. What happens? He scored 40 points. So you have your Bulls. You tell me how that breaks down these days for them. They have all these guards. They play all these. They play them all. So
yeah.
And then your chalk is Devin Carter. He's 3,800. He's 45% tonight. So
yeah, we'll stay on the Bulls. Well, I guess we can't talk about all of them because Simon's lost his point guard eligibility.
Sure.
I like Ivy. I think in terms of Ivy, Simons, and Sexton, Ivy's my third favorite. But he's starting and he's playing 30 minutes in a matchup against the 26th ranked defense. I'm in. Like, if you tell me you're playing Jaden Ivey, I'm in. I don't like him as much as Colin Sexton, though, John. So Sexton's first game with the Bulls, a little bit skewed. He did play in the blowout, like they just kept him on the floor, which, is a little bit misleading. It was only 2 minutes. So in reality, Colin Sexton played, it was 2:30. So he played 26 minutes of like no garbage time. Dude, he had a 28% usage rate that led the team. Colin Sexton, we know. I mean, 28% usage.
Yeah,
that is a number that I like to see, especially against Brooklyn. If he's going to get anywhere near like that 26 to 29 minute range at a 28% usage, he is being far too underowned. The ownership has definitely come up throughout the day, which I'm ultimately not surprised at, but it has remained pretty low, lower than I thought it would. So I like Colin Sexton. Triori is someone that I've like teeter-tottered with basically all day because Yegor Dioman's not in, Michael Porter's not in. Obviously, Cam Thomas is a buck. And like we've seen now, the Boston game is a fake 37 minutes because he played all 10 minutes of overtime.
Yeah.
So he played 27 minutes. but he did play 38 in Orlando. So obviously Jordy Fernandez has been a little bit more, willing to let him play.
Yeah.
I assume 30 minutes is in the range of outcome today with Dioman out. So I'm okay with Triori. I'd rather play Sexton because obviously like the usage rates are completely different. If Jamal Murray were to sit, I think Bruce Brown looks really interesting. 31 and 38 minutes the last two games. They're down Peyton Watson. They're down like all these guys. Christian Brown has like been playing low 30s. They've kind of cut Jalen Pickett from the rotation again. Tim Hardaway's not playing like the 35 minutes. They're playing Strother. Yeah. So like if Jamal Murray's out, Bruce Brown becomes a very interesting play. We'll save fears for shooting guards, so we have something to talk about there. But yeah, Devin Carter is very interesting. Former first-round draft pick who has just kind of flamed out and has not looked good at the NBA level since being drafted. And the Kings have the best lottery odds right now. Obviously, with Darren Peterson and AJ Debinsa, on everyone's mind. The Kings are going to do everything they possibly can to not win games and actively just be the worst team in the NBA. Not that I think Carter is bad. I just think like they're going to play these young dudes that still are learning in the NBA. And without all these guys, 25% usage, 1.2 fantasy points per minute. It's a 72-minute sample, which is, not big. But for 3 straight games, we've seen 22 minutes in all 3 of them. He's at a 21% usage or better in all 3 of them. And he's had 26 or more fantasy points in all 3. Like, he is just being more ball dominant, and he's being asked to do more. So, yeah, I think I actually built with Devin Carter on the preview show lineup last night. And then his ownership has just been a meteoric rise throughout the day. So, yeah, I have no objection to getting to Carter. I think he's one of the better values of the day.
If you go on a shooting guard, you have Anthony Edwards at 97, Donovan Mitchell's $9,500 is your top 2 price players overall. Donovan Mitchell had quite a fourth quarter the other day against Sacramento. Basically scored like
him and Harden, right? Did they score like all their points in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, Harden. I don't think Harden started the fourth, or if he did, he checked out early. But when he checked back in, he just hit like 3 threes. It was a good turnaround for Harden.
Yeah, I saw the go ahead 3 that he hit.
But Donovan Mitchell basically just put his head down and went to the rim for about 8 straight possessions. And Sacramento had zero hope of stopping him there. But this is another position where like not many people are spending up. KPJ carries his ownership over because he has dual positional eligibility. Norm's 15%. Anthony Edwards is the highest of the top 2. He's under 10% today. So like spending up is a way to be different. Denver still doesn't play a lot of defense. Donovan Mitchell 95 at no ownership today could be pretty interesting.
I promise you their defense didn't get any better when Peyton Watson got hurt either.
Right.
He's literally their best. That's their best on-ball defender who's no longer on the court. Yeah, Ant looks great. I said it in the playbook, like super contrarian. Donovan Mitchell the same. Like both these guys, like super contrarian spend-ups that have 60 fantasy point upside, 50 actual point upside, right? So, like, the question is, would I prioritize either of them over Nikola Jokic? Probably not. But I'm also like, I play Jokic more than most people. So, I just find ways to get to Jokic and then kind of move on. So it just depends on if you're looking to be more fair and balanced, like Ant and Donovan Mitchell are definitely a way to do so.
Yep. Again, if you're going down into the mid-range, we talked about KPJ already. Norm Powell's 16%, Desmond Bane's in that same range. You have any W here? Daniels and Jalen Johnson sit out. I know Minnesota's tough defensively, but any W's got to get a little bump here, no?
Minnesota's going through some stuff right now, John. They just got blitzed by Kawhi Leonard yesterday and company. And Rudy Gobert's out here trashing teammates in the media. Basically Ant and Julius Randle, like basically trashing Ant and Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Yes, NAW would be very interesting. It's hard to talk about Atlanta like fully, but they are a team that could have the most movement in terms of ownership today, right? Obvious, like if Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels are out, they will be the team that is like goes from no ownership to all the ownership. So definitely interested in Atlanta. I don't have like any thoughts really on them outside of play Jalen Johnson if they're healthy. Norm is interesting. And Spin, you did. I meant to shout you out. You have been talking. I don't think they're trash. They're just kind of in a weird place right now. They're not doing anything right. And again, they're talking about each other in the media too. Norm like has been dealing with the back. I know like recently it's been the hand, but the back had been an issue previously, and then it just flared up. And I don't know if it was due to the 30-point lead that they built after the third quarter, and he was like, actually, my back hurts. Let me just sit the rest of this one out. Or if it was like legitimately another back flare up. But obviously anything Miami is intriguing if if Norm's in. It's the best spot possible for any opposing team. So and it's the team closest to Miami in pace. They are Utah second. So that game looks amazing. If Norm plays, I definitely have interest. Probably only in tournaments because if the back is actually bothering him, the flare up could happen at any time. I don't really care for anything else in this tier, John. Like CJM's hard to talk, or NAW is hard to talk about because we don't know Atlanta's news. Orlando is like their full strength, so you can make a case for any of them, and I'd be like, yeah, sure. Same thing with Khan. You can always make a case for Khan Knippel.
If you think Thompson shuts down LaMelo or Brandon Miller tonight, then Khan steps up. We've talked about the reason why they've been so good because they have four guys that can legitimately score the basketball with Bridges, Miller, Khan, and LaMelo. So
and like the most active center in the NBA, Musa's just everywhere. Like multiple times a game, you have multiple possessions because Musa gets.
And wait till they add Kobe White to the mix off the bench, right? They'll just have another.
Yeah. Well, we'll see when that's. Well, did you see the Bulls had to give them back a second round pick because
failed the physical?
Yeah, they had to amend the deal because his the calf that he hadn't had a strain on is damaged.
Oh, okay.
So he's out through the break because he now has to heal his other calf.
Got it. Yeah. But yeah, Khan always live just to knock down a bunch of threes, and if they're not rotating quick enough, he'll make them pay for that. You mentioned Simons here. Now shooting guard eligible. Minutes have been great. Scored a lot in game one. Didn't score as much in game two. Sexton got added into the mix there as well, so a high usage rate player. What are your thoughts here on Anthony Simons?
I mean, in game two, he just missed shots, right? Like game one, he made 6 threes. Game two, he didn't. Yeah, and like that is going to be the opportunity for him. They're going to play really fast, and he's going to take a lot of threes. And while Gideon and Trey Jones are not on the floor, he's going to continue to start. I mean, he basically paced for 34, 35 minutes, 2.5. So at 35 exactly. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything bad to say about Simons. We know how good he can be offensively. I think the peripheral stats last game were good to see as well, like 10 rebounds, assists. I don't know if that's going to be something that he can maintain, but I definitely think Simons is a really good play.
Ace Bailey's there at 57. If you think he's just a guy that stays on the floor, but he is $5,700.
No interest. Even though we're basically playing for like blowout, right? Like this is like
I'm saying. Well, you already need to play for blowout if he's the one that's on the floor and they sit everybody else.
Yes, but but we're paying a premium price.
Yes, like and for 3 quarters, he is like the third option behind.
Jaren, Markkanen, and Nurkic on the floor in this game. I don't have a lot of interest.
Neek's kind of interesting, right? I mean, no Levine and no Sabonis, and he's just 19 shots, scoring. Or bad team, no Monk, right? Again, too.
Yeah, no Monk, no Hunter, who's out through the All-Star break as well. I mean, opportunity all the way there. I am obviously dubious that the scoring is going to maintain. like, not that I don't think he can't score enough to like hit and exceed value. Also, if he's going to play 40 minutes, like, it's possible he just goes crazy, right? If he's on the floor for 40 minutes, because they're super shorthanded, which they are again, then yeah, I think it's a great spot. I mean, it's a spot against the team that allows the second most threes in the NBA. It's a spot that allows all the points in the paint. It's a spot where, Nick Clifford is known for his defense. Like, he can turn offense into defense, or defense into offense. I mean, yep. I like Neek. Is he my favorite king today? No, but he is firmly in play at 5,200.
We'll get to Dylan Cardwell. Don't worry. Where else are we looking to go then at this position? Any value plays pop out to you today?
I mean, you could play Sexton here. I like Sexton.
You mentioned Fears. You want to
shooting guard. Yeah. So I think he's interesting. It's obviously like you look at the production, and that's one thing. He did nothing, and is kind of what it is. This is not the player he's been all year, though, right? Like, he's been a high usage player. He has been pretty good peripherally, and he's been good scoring. I mean, he's averaging 13 actual points a game this year. And I was just kind of waiting to see what the Pelicans would do. Again, Keith and I had talked about it we were like both on the side that Jordan Poole wouldn't re-enter the rotation, and he didn't. They instead played Bryce McGowan's. But, like, dude, Jeremiah Fears played 28 minutes off the bench. Like, you can't really dislike that. Like, just because he was 1 for 7 from the floor against Minnesota, like, okay, if he plays 28 minutes against Sacramento, I doubt that he's 1 for 7 from the floor. He's like a highly active offensive player. So I think Jeremiah Fears is definitely in play for tournaments. I'd be more than willing to go back to the well. I like Daquan Plowden a little bit, especially if he's going to start. $4,000. They played him almost 40 minutes the other day. Kind of think he's going to start again. And you look at like what their lineup is going to be, and who's in and who's out. It's basically the same people from the other day. So could see Plowden play 40 minutes again. Wouldn't be surprised. He, this is an undrafted dude who has been around the NBA a couple different times. I think Atlanta last year, but yeah, if he's starting at 4K and there's if he's going to play 40 minutes, anyone that plays 40 minutes, if you're not named Cody Williams, is in play.
Yeah. I mean, obviously some value plays from an ownership perspective. Again, value is kind of where the field was going. You can play Devin Carter here as well. Fears was number 3 in ownership. Strother's getting a little bit around 20% as well. Nets plays, which I know we hate talking about. Zaire Williams getting a little bit of ownership love, and then Plowden, as you said, sitting around 15%. We did just get kind of funny update. Mark Cuban looking to reacquire the Dallas Mavericks. So,
what a hilarious how
you sell them for billions of dollars, then you just like, you know what, they're ruining the team I love, I'm buying them back.
Literally sold the team, and then the team immediately traded Luka Doncic. Do you think Mark Cuban would have signed off on trading Luka Doncic? The guy who signed off on it, their owner, doesn't even know about basketball. He admitted that, right? Yeah. Like, after they fired Nico Harrison, he's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Trusted Nico was doing it. Yep. They got Cooper Flag though. It was, Cooper Flag.
They did.
Well, it could be that it could be him. Small forward. Again, Laurie was cooking, but if he's only getting 3 quarters, then
can't play.
Can't touch him.
Unplayable.
Franz on a minutes limit. Brandon Miller always live to score a bunch of points, but has a tough matchup here against Detroit. You have DDR. Every time I've said DDR is washed, he goes off. Is tonight a day I call him washed? It is the Pelicans. He could score a lot of points here.
I'm not playing veterans from Sacramento. They're just, it's one of those situations moving forward that I'm just going to avoid. Like, there's a reason why you said Russ, and I completely ignored it.
Russ was, I mean, I have to check, but he was the highest rusted point guard on Draft FanDuel today.
Yeah, he's like under 7K over there. Like, I get it, because in theory it's like, oh, they are shorthanded. But I just don't how many teams are now doing this thing where they're starting guys and their tank, they're making sure that they don't play them in the fourth quarter because we saw it with Sabonis a couple games ago. Any day now it's DeRozan and Westbrook's turn to not play in the fourth quarter.
If Norm doesn't play, you have Jaquez here at $6,800 would be a really good spot for him.
Not playing Saddiq Bey.
He went for 50 points.
I know, but it's not the day that I said he was going.
It was not. You did not, right? You did not the day you said he wouldn't have 40 fantasy points. What a hilarious season for Saddiq Bey. He's just now in firm tournament GPP territory.
Yeah, he can. You can definitely play him in tournaments for sure.
Because literally, you play him at. I mean, tonight he's the highest rostered small forward, which I assume just has to do with the state of the small forward position.
It's a terrible position. Hand up right now. I will not be playing Saddiq Bey at the highest ownership. I promise you that. Okay, but it's a good spot. It's obviously Sacramento's a good spot. Obviously.
And he's got 50 fantasy point potential. 3 of the last 5 he's got for like 40 or more. So $6,600. You know, all right. Where do you go then? I mean, Strother's your next guy from ownership. Are you playing McDaniels or Asor? I mean, you can't play Thompson with everybody back there. Where do you go?
No, it's a value position.
Value plays for you. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't wanted to spend up. I think Miller is a good tournament play just because he has a high ceiling. Saddiq, obviously, you could play in tournaments. Jaquez is obviously, if Norm's out, has a massive.
He probably gets
as well.
If Norm gets pulled out. So.
Yeah. 800 against Utah. They're already down Larson and Hero for sure. He'd get steamed. I don't have like anything good to say about basically anybody. We talked Clifford. A lot of the plays are retreads. Clifford, Strother, he started the other day, 33 minutes for Julian Strother. No reason to think he doesn't start again tonight, $4,200. Plowden is 4K. I really like
Ricochet here if Jalen's out too.
It's possible. Yeah. It's a low floor, it's a really, really low floor.
You've just seen him have games this year, right? So
he has had games. I am a little bit indifferent about it. Ricochet and Kispert probably both playable in the same range. Both Kispert might have a little higher minute ceiling only because Ricochet's fresh off injury a few games ago. Maybe he's not actually limited and he can play more. So yeah, I think Kispert and Ricochet, if guys are out. There is the Zaire Williams stuff. It is disgusting and horrible to play Brooklyn. If Zaire Williams were to start, I'd have interest. Someone I'm keeping my eye on, John, is Myron Gardner. If Myron Gardner draws a start tonight, he started for Miami. It was an insane Sunday. He almost helped me get a takedown yesterday. I almost took down the $5 single. And I played Myron Gardner, and he gets 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes. And then he checks back into the second quarter, and he gets 2 offensive rebounds and a putback, and then immediately fouls again. And then he smashes in the second half. And I think he's going to start for Pelle Larsson regardless. But then if there's no Norm, I mean, we could just be looking at a guy who plays a season high in minutes, who's been really, really good per minute. So if Myron Gardner's starting, I have a little bit of interest in that as well. So definitely a position that I am looking at for value for sure. And we just had a Buddy Hield question. I don't know if they're healthy. I don't think Buddy Hield plays. He may or may not. But if Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels play, I don't know if Buddy Hield plays. He DMP'd the other day. He was active for Saturday. Maybe that was just because he's getting acclimated. But it's not Buddy Hield has been DMPing for 2 straight years, and then he's back in the rotation. Then he DMPs. Then he's back in the rotation. Then he DMPs. I would never play a $4,100 Buddy Hield unless they just thrust him into the starting lineup, right? Sure. That's probably the only case I'd play. Only case for Buddy.
Power forward. Again, Jalen Johnson was up here, but downgraded. Paolo, 93 versus Milwaukee. Randall, Laurie, you still have Zion under 8K here. I mean, what are we looking at?
Yeah, I definitely have interest in Jalen Johnson if he plays. I'm happy that it's the knee and not the calf. It always is the calf for Jalen Johnson, right? It's always, anytime he's questionable or whatever, it's seemingly the calf. If Jalen plays, I have interest. I mean, he is just an elite fantasy player, plays 40 minutes, nightly triple-double threat. Like, no objection if he plays. Paolo, I'm fine with. Nothing really stands out at 9,300. He has a ceiling. Randall, another guy like you can play if you want. No interest in Larry Markkinen. I think Zion's too cheap. What I will say is his numbers deteriorate without Alvarado and Jordan Poole on the floor. I think that's very interesting, but 3% decrease in usage down to 24%, 1.08 fantasy points per minute without those players. That's like fourth on the team. I love the price and I love the ceiling at this price. So if you want to get to Zion, I think that's great, but it's very interesting to see how much worse he is without Poole and Alvarado. So if you want to play him, you can. Jaren, basically, like Markkinen, kind of unplayable if he's not going to play the fourth quarter. I mean, him and Lowry were absolutely cooking, and they don't play a minute in the fourth, right? And then they tank. It's impossible to play. So, I think pretty much for me, it's Jalen and Zion in this like 7K and up range.
From the mid range, Andrew Wiggins getting a little bit of love around 15%. Sadiq Bey can be carried over here as well. Buzelis is under 10. Thoughts on this mid-road 6K range?
Yeah, I think Buzelis looks okay. Nothing like that stands out to me as the price goes up, but obviously a guy whose opportunity has grown. Still no Giddey. No Vooch. They traded a lot of players. So I am absolutely okay with Buzelis. I wrote him up today, but that doesn't mean I think he's like any type of priority. Andrew Wiggins, I've labeled him a safe pair of hands on like multiple playbooks in a row. I feel that way again today. Andrew Wiggins has been super productive in like many different ways lately. Gets an elite matchup against Utah, possibly without Norm, to add to an already team without Tyler Hero and Pelle Larsson. So, yeah, I think Wiggins looks great at 6,300 for sure.
Yeah, he was the cover of the preview show. I thought maybe everybody in Miami was out.
He's just been good. I didn't know what to do. We put like Jokic or we put
every week. Yeah,
Jalen Johnson
every show.
I was just like looking for. I was like, oh, we could put someone on this. Someone on Miami facing Utah feels like a good pick.
Your top three ownership players are all right next to each other. That's Dylan Cardwell, Noah Clowney, and I was going to call him Dustin again. Danny Wolf. Dustin Wolf plays hockey. Danny Wolf here, your top three owned plays at this position.
Yeah, I mean, we'll start at the Brooklyn stuff. Dude, they just like don't look good without Michael Porter. When you look at their fantasy output, they don't have like good numbers.
Okay, take the guy off the floor that scores 35 a night. That's going to happen.
Like Day'Ron Sharpe is the only player over 1 fantasy point per minute without Michael Porter Jr. on the floor this year. Mm-hmm. Like Danny Wolf has been okay. He's been fine. Like,
yeah.
He's now also almost 5K, so you need basically 30 fantasy points with Danny Wolf to win a tournament. So I'm like fine. Clowney and him basically have the same usage rate. Clowney's slightly ahead of him in usage rate. Wolf is slightly ahead of him in fantasy points per minute. I feel a little better about Clowney's minutes, but neither like stand out to me as much as like Dylan Cardwell would. I mean, dude, he's just. I've said it over and over and over again, but he is just what he is. Like he is a maniac fantasy scorer. He rebounds like a maniac. He blocks shots like a maniac. He's always in passing lanes, anticipating steals. He just needs to stay out of foul trouble. That is the only downside to playing Dylan Cardwell, that he can get 4 fouls in 2 quarters, and then you're cooked, right? But he's a 1.2 fantasy point per minute player. Fresh new contract. They said, hey, Dylan, you're unbelievably good. You probably should have been drafted. Here's a fresh new contract, 2 years. So I am absolutely in on Cardwell. Nothing bad to say about him. I prefer him over the Brooklyn guys, for sure. Even if he doesn't start, and I don't expect him to, but even if he doesn't start, I like him over the others.
We go to center. Cardinals also the highest trusted center today, over 30%. Wolf 30%, and then Joker at 28%. He is 12-1, no longer getting the under $12,000 Nikola Jokic. It was Serbian night the other night, as you DM'd me. You're like, hey,
I mean,
expect it. And
I said, you know what to. I said, you know what to do.
Yeah,
it's Serbian night in Chicago. You know what to do.
I took the over assists that hit 17 for him there. 22, 14, and 17. He's got Cleveland here now. Again, high-scoring game. There's a lot of value on this slate. So why not just play the best player in the world?
You're not asking the right. Don't ask me. I'm playing him. Yeah, I mean, I said it all last year. If you guys watched the show, like $13K was the correct price tag for Nikola Jokic. So I am easily investing in Nikola Jokic tonight and not thinking twice.
Yeah, he is the cheat code right now again. So get him. No disrespect to like Bam against Utah or Duran against Charlotte tonight. Like they're playable. But 30% of the field is paying 12-1 for Joker. So ownership is kind of off most others that isn't Cardwell and Wolf already. Derek Queen's 15%, and then nobody else is 10%. So
Derek Queen is 15% because that's the camp of Derek Queen can always go off in any given matchup. And also the 85% that's not currently rostering him is like, oh, he might also play 17 minutes, right? Yeah. That's well within the range of outcome for our boy there, because he is such a good fantasy player. I'll throw out one name that I'll throw out a couple here, John. Okay. Bam, I think is interesting for sure. Jared Allen is kind of insanely interesting to me. You know, like there's always the can you stay out of foul trouble when you're guarding Jokic factor, but like I'm not really all too concerned with Jared Allen's like too good of a basketball player to worry about that. But like oh boy.
You talking about the update there?
That he's going to practice.
Yeah, practice.
Jason Tatum back to school.
Tatum's coming back after the All-Star break.
Back to school to prove to everyone I'm not a fool.
I hope he goes in there and pulls the Butler. He's like, I'm gonna take the scrubs.
Well, they are all G Leaguers.
Amari Williams out there. So
Jared, sure. No, he's got a standard deal.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Amari Williams 2-year deal.
He was too good for the G League. So.
He was too good for the G League. Jared Allen this year, John. No Evan Mobley, no Darius Garland, no DeAndre Hunter. 23% usage, 1.46 fantasy points per minute without those guys. And now he has, one of, if not the best pick and roll partner in the NBA in James Harden. I mean, say what you want about James Harden. Guy is elite in pick and roll. And like as a distributor, as a playmaker, just in general. But, I don't know if that's a coincidence. He goes for 29 and 10 with Harden in his first game. 2 games ago, Allen goes for 40 and 17. There's no Mobley, Garland in that one either, or Hunter. Jokic is not a great defender. Like, Jokic is a great anticipator, great hands, not a good defender. Like, he's going to have problems with Allen. So I like Allen a little bit in tournaments, a lot of it in tournaments. I think Moussa Diabate is interesting in tournaments as well. Obviously, like high 20s, low 30s minutes for Moussa. Elite rebounder. When he scores, he smashes the price tag. And then I got one for you. You ready?
Yeah.
No one's playing this guy today. And I am highly intrigued in tournaments, okay? Large field stuff only. Could grow to all formats if Norm is ruled out. How about Khalil Ware, okay? who not only got postered by his own teammate.
Yeah, saw that. Yeah,
great poster, by the way. Great poster.
Was as the official poster chairman? That's a poster
on his own, and it was on his own teammate, which is elite. So I was looking at the minutes yesterday for Khalil Ware. I'm like, all right, blowout, whatever, doesn't matter. And then you look into Khalil Ware minutes, okay? He played 17 first half minutes yesterday, John. Overlapped with Bam for a lot of it. He closed the first half as well. And that's not a guarantee. We've talked about this a lot, right? Myron Gardner started yesterday. He got in big foul trouble. But Khalil Ware closed over Jaime Jaquez in that first half. Obviously not what is guaranteed to happen today. But like, dude, if Norm were to sit, you assume Jaquez is going to close in the first half. Khalil Ware is just so good per minute that it just makes you a little bit intrigued of what the upside could be in a matchup against the Utah Jazz, who, by the way, are playing 3 guys 6'10" in their front court right now, right? Jaren Jackson, Lauri Markkanen, and Yusuf Nurkic. And if it's not Nurkic, it's Kyle Filipowski, also of the tall variety. So I think Khalil Ware is someone who is kind of getting misprojected in ownership. And I don't know if people just assume like, oh, he got all this time and blow. Like, he actually didn't even close in the blowout, right? Like, he didn't play the final 540 of that game. So what could have been for Khalil Ware? Just throwing that out there as like a interesting tournament play for large field stuff.
Sure.
You also know I'm the first person to say like how much Eric Spoelstra hates Khalil Ware. And he sees one bad thing from Ware and he's done for the night. Doesn't even play.
I mean, literally, if he bends down to tie his shoe incorrectly, Spoelstra, he's not putting the effort in we need out of him. And
and Jovic is the backup center, right? Like and Nikola Jovic, next thing you know, Nikola Jovic. But I will tell you this. There ain't many players at 4,800 that can go out and get you 19 and 14 on a given night. And in this spot against Utah, there is a massive ceiling on Khalil Ware. So just throwing that caveat out there, I think that there is legitimate upside. Maybe the widest range of outcome for any player on the slate.
And you just in Reno?
Yeah, Reno will start. He'll play. I think that there's a chance that he could be extended. There's a chance that he could play 24 minutes and Cardwell gets extended. Another guy who could kind of fall into...
He's kind of the Cardwell pivot. Cardwell pivot, rather, because Cardwell's 35%, Reno is 9%. So
yeah, he's definitely the Cardwell pivot. I prefer Cardwell because he's just significantly better per minute.
Yeah.
But, Reno is the guy that they drafted of the two. Like, Reno, second-round pick, Cardwell, undrafted. They did give Cardwell a contract, so it's not like they're not invested in both of them. Ultimately, they might just both be on the floor at the end of the game. But, if you're asking me, I still prefer Cardwell. I mean, he's cheaper, he has better eligibility, and he's better per minute. Sure. Just the holy grail of what you're looking for. But you are correct when you're looking for just a contrarian play.
What is Chicago doing with their front court?
I mean, Jalen Smith went their shoot around. I expect Jalen Smith to play, but it's a calf, so you never know. And I'm usually more cautious with calf injuries than I would say the field is. I would love to play Jalen Smith. If he plays, I think everything is unplayable. If Jalen Smith plays, I think everything's unplayable because Smith at 59, coming off a calf strain, they're now calling it, even though it wasn't a strain to start, it was calf cramps, is going to probably be limited, which means, is Yabusele starting? Possibly. Is he coming off the bench? Possibly. What does that mean for Nick Richards? I mean, it's just all too hard to predict. So, if Jalen Smith is in, you can't play anything. If Jalen Smith doesn't play, I think Yabu and Richards are probably both viable. I would probably lean Richards because he's cheaper, but yeah, if Smith plays, it's kind of all just an avoid at all cost situation.
When a Carter Jr. say he gets ruled out, are you playing Mo Wagner or Goga Bitadze, depending on who starts?
I mean, we've seen this from the Magic before, John. Like, I assume they just start Goga, right? Because do you remember I don't know if it was last year or the year prior when Jonathan Isaac just like re-entered the rotation and Goga just like exited.
Yeah.
But then like when Wendell was out, they just started Goga and gave him all the minutes. So I assume Goga would start and then you would get Wagner in his same role. I don't know if, coming off the ACL, they're like willing. He did play 17 last game. That was the most he's played. So maybe Wagner can get to 20. I would probably just play the starter.
Because Wagner's such a crazy.
He's so good. Yeah, but like Goga at 3K is also a very good fantasy player. Like when he is extended, you look through Goga Batadze's like catalog, he is also a very good fantasy player. So I lean Goga, but I also like lean Goga because there's not a cap on his minutes, right? Like if Goga's cooking and just dominating the glass, like I can see 28 minutes where if Mo Wagner came out and hit 6-3 straight, he'll still play 17 minutes. Like they're not increasing his minutes, at least drastically. Maybe he gets to 20, right? So I lean Goga, but I get what you're saying. I think both are firmly in play if Wendell Carter ultimately gets ruled out.
Agreed. All right, some comments here in the comment section. Let's see. We got how many minutes for Bubby? I think you answered that, Buddy, already. I think you answered that one.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Any love for Khan? He said he missed shooting guard. We were fine with Charlotte, but we weren't like in love with anyone on
max one Charlotte. If you're playing Charlotte in tournaments, it's a max one. Like you can't play more than one.
What's the total in this game too? It's not crazy high, right?
No, it's incredibly low. Yeah.
It's not as one. Yeah. Detroit's giving 2.5. Again, this is kind of where I've been stuck all day, is because like Charlotte's been playing so good, and they're getting 2.5 at home. But Detroit's always been considered one of the top 2-3 teams in the East.
They're number one.
Yeah, number one, and like really good defensively.
Yes.
So it's like, is this the time where Charlotte kind of comes back to level a little bit?
I mean, dude, they beat OKC on the second leg of a back-to-back in OKC by 30. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen tonight, but they could just beat anybody when they're making shots.
I know. It's so crazy. So, like, you could definitely play Khan, and if it's him tonight, then you're good, but it's an interesting spot there. So, all right. Are we playing Joker and then building around him?
Yes. Okay.
Imagine that means we're playing Carter then?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Carter, Cardwell, Jokic. I know that's super chalky, but there's plenty of places to be different tonight. There's 14 games.
I mean, you're already at 6K of play, and like you said, if Wendell Carter gets ruled out, you have a 3K center to play. So
yeah, and Jokic is an easy move into the util because he's the late game. So super easy to do.
I mean, there's still plenty more value we could even get to.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, in this lineup, I'd move Carter to shooting guard and play Trey Murphy.
Okay.
I'm very high on Trey Murphy today.
Sure.
And the ownership is going down. I love that. IC3, I agree. 6-7, by the way. But yeah, they all have guys that like just give you 30 to 40 fantasy points. 100%.
How much Sacramento would you play today? Would you play Neek?
I would probably go a third. Most lineups I'd probably, because they're cheap, you can get away with a third.
I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I mean, Traore's 45.
I mean, all the guard value. Like I like Sexton a lot at 4,600. I like Fears. quite a bit. There is the Plowden stuff at 4K.
If we did Sexton, that gives us 55 a play, small forward utility.
Perfect. Keep it right there.
All right, guys, we do appreciate y'all tuning in. We did get started a little bit early today. We'll be back at 5 p.m. start time for tomorrow's show. All-Star break coming up. Only a couple more days, and we get a break here for all of you guys, and you'll have to – I don't even know. Last year during the All-Star break, we played hockey, but we got the Olympics going on, so golf. Play some golf. We got some golf DFS. We released the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am DFS show this afternoon, myself and Jacob Parry. So maybe we'll be getting into some PGA DFS during the NBA All-Star break this go around. Appreciate you guys again tuning in. We'll catch you later.